and welcome back to When IT Hits the Fan, brought to you by Rhyno Healthcare Solutions. Today, I have Lamar Reese with me here. Thank you so much for coming. And so, can you tell me a little bit more about yourself? Who are you? What are your general responsibilities? How did you find yourself here?
Yes, absolutely. So I am the VP of Sales and Strategic Partnerships for Bryan Staffing Solutions. We are a faith-based recruitment firm that's based in North Carolina. We are a multi-sector staffing firm that work in different industries, which is healthcare, also legal, construction, manufacturing, logistics, also as well. Shoot, what got me to this journey is pretty unique. My background essentially is recruitment for 10 plus years. And then also logistics. I have a logistics background also as well. But I actually stumbled upon working at Bryan Staffing Solutions by just looking for another position, and I didn't get the job, right? But the CEO reached out to me and asked me, did I want mentorship, which I think was something that was very important and very pivotal in my life that I needed at that time. He said basically he didn't have any income or money far as offering me a opportunity or a position, but he had mentorship. And I think that was valuable of itself. So from that point on, we ended up growing a friendship and a brotherhood. And then he brought me on as a sales rep. And then from that point, everything just took off. Everything just took off. I essentially closed out on one of our number one clients, and then from there, he just said, "Hey, you know what? You have so many ideas and strategies. You might as well just be my VP of sales." So I said, "Oh, okay."
And tell me a little
I
bit
never
more.
had that position.
Yeah, and what does being a VP of sales mean to you? What are your responsibilities? I imagine it's many hats, many changing tasks throughout the day.
Yeah, so essentially, the VP of sales to me is, of course, right, you are in charge of bringing on new acquisitions to the company, right? New clients, and also moving the company into a positive direction when it comes down to, I would say, growth wise, operation side, but then also on the sales side. But over the course of the last 2 years since I've been working at Bright Staffing Solutions, like you mentioned before, we wear so many hats. So it could be building out the new sales team, which is what we're doing currently right now, or making a decision on how we're going to structure our offer to our clients, or just coming up with new ideas that going to keep the company fresh and moving in the right direction.
And I know that Brian is multi-industry, but on IT Hits the Fan, we kind of focus on healthcare just a little bit. But the thing is that most industries today are reporting that they're having issues matching open seats with top talent. What are some of the biggest challenges companies today are facing when it comes to finding and retaining that top talent?
The healthcare market is competitive, to be honest, and finding top talent is because right now it's kind of, I would, depending on the roles, it could be oversaturated depending on the kind of position and also the market that you're in, right? From my experience, I've seen a lot of positions as far as like nurses and LPNs, they kind of flip flop between jobs. So unfortunately, I would say for some clients, not our clients, for other organizations, they may have like a high turnover when it comes down to positions. Well, I would say the most important thing to be able to keep that top talent is all about culture, right? Because everybody right now is competitive, right? A nurse could get paid anywhere between $38 to 45. I saw one position that was paying $100 an hour. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, the market is there for them to get paid. Now it's all about the culture, right? How can you can separate yourself from the other company as far as what can you give the employee besides just the salary, but how the environment is, the management, the training, the other tools that they can use to further their growth within the company also as well. So I think that stuff right now is more important than just the salary at this point.
And the job market today is just constantly shifting under our feet. So is the economy itself. But how do you stay ahead of the hiring needs of the companies that you guys work with? And how do you get through the pool of talent to find the right matches?
Well, I would say our recruitment team is, I'm gonna say they are some dogs. They are relentless when it comes down to sourcing and recruitment. I think one of the key things is we are not a reactive company, right? Like we don't wait until the requisition comes to our table and then we start sourcing and recruitment. We passive source all day long, every single day. So we have a pipeline, and that comes through various different channels, right? It don't necessarily means that you have to reach out from a person through LinkedIn. It's all about branding, right? Content that you posted on LinkedIn also as well, your content that you posted on social media that gravitates candidates and also organizations to your company also as well. I think the overall goal for us at Bryant Staffing Solutions, right? Of course, we want to be one of the premier staffing firms, but I think that comes with the overall structure of how you, I would say, how you structure your campaigns when it comes down to outreach. So it's a multitude of things that you have to do to be able to get those quality candidates that you're looking for. But I think the key thing is just it's pretty much all about your branding of your company and the experience also as well from from people who either employees that get hired through our staffing firm, and they also get testimonies along with our clients. All that stuff adds up.
And we're going to dig in further into the branding and the social media aspects because that's sort of my job too. But when it comes to, because we were talking earlier about culture and how that helps with the massive turnover rates that are being seen right now. What are some of the most common mistakes that maybe not from your clients, but in the field that you're seeing that causes less healthy cultures that lead to more turnover when it comes to hiring and needing more recruitment or leaving positions open for months on end?
What I would say to that question is, well, I answer the first part. It's the so when a person actually comes on the, I'm gonna speak from my own experience working with my career as far as logistics and also recruitment. I think the most important thing is, the management, right? Once that person makes it through the interview process, you hire them, you have your person. He or she's great. Looking forward for them to come and work for the company. When they actually start working, whoever is the leadership of that department, now that's where their role is critical as far as cultivating and curating that department and ensuring that that person growth is actually that they're going to be successful in that position, right? And it comes with training, right? It comes with overall engagement. I think that's most importantly. I think a lot of companies or a lot of management teams don't practice that enough, which is engagement, right? Checking in, having 30, 60-day, 90-day sync meetings just to see exactly where that person productivity or production is at. And I had instances of companies that I work with where they did that, but then I have instances where they didn't do it. And you just leave a person pretty much the stray of learning how to be successful in that role, either from their peers. And then that's a whole nother challenge of itself. So I say to ensure that hire actually becomes successful, I think the key thing is engagement. Engagement is very important.
And now going back to the social media stuff, which gets me all excited. So I know I'm going to talk a little bit from my past. I know that before I really got into my current role of doing social media management for multiple healthcare technology based companies, when I thought of social media, I'm thinking of Dungeons and Dragons podcasts and influencers and makeup challenges and food and all these different things. And when I had a mentorship too, and when I stepped into this role and saw the absolute power of social media when it comes to what I would have once considered topics that are too adult to ever use this medium, it's amazing what happens when you put your career, your passions, your everything into social media, no matter what they are, no matter how concrete or hard science they are. Can you tell me a little bit about, especially for the people at home who maybe had more my beliefs, where social media seemed like a thing where you put pictures of your kid's birthday party and your new dog? Can you tell me a little bit more about what social media does for Bryant Staffing Solutions, what it could do for other technology, healthcare, hard science companies that might not be leveraging it?
It's the new media, right? I mean, it's the new TV, social media. Quick, just quick thing with my sons, right? They don't watch TV, they watch YouTube. That's their TV. TV is YouTube. And it's funny when I hear them talk about certain things that comes from YouTube. It's not coming from the regular TV that me and you used to watch, right? The sitcom shows. But what social media does for companies, right? It lets everybody know who you are, right? It lets everybody know what your product is, what industry that you're in, who you serving, and how can they get to you. I mean, that's the most important. depending on what industry you in, it could be oversaturated. What's going to make you different from the next person, right? And social media helps you leverage that. It leverages and makes I would say like the outreach process on an even playing field for everyone, right? Like with your main social media influencers, like what was that, Mr. Beast? How he posts all his content, right? He said he posts 100 videos a day. I'm like, wow, we not there yet. We trying to get there,
No.
but we not there yet. Just they using that to their advantage. It's the new technology, and I think it's most importantly companies should leverage that and probably reach out to a social media specialist or something that can be able to assist them. But here at Brian Staffing Solutions, to be honest, like we're not even touching the peak of what we can do when it comes down to leveraging social media. But we getting there. We learning and we getting there. But right now, social media and these different platforms like LinkedIn, YouTube, they help us connect. LinkedIn helped me and you connect, right?
Yes. Exactly.
Right. See, and we would have never saw each other on a planet because I'm in New Jersey, you
Exactly.
probably even you're right, another location, and we would never connect, but social media bridged that gap that I could speak to someone all the way in South Africa and I'm in New Jersey and vice
Yeah.
versa. So it's definitely very important.
If you had to maybe predict in the next, I used to say 5 years, no longer with the speed that technology is going, it's almost, I should say, if you need to predict in the next 1 year what the difference in like the social media landscape is going to be. But let's just say the future, just a shapeless amount of time. If you had to look forward, what might be coming next for Brian Staffing Solutions? You have your social media footprint, but how would you like to expand? Maybe another company can take a card from your deck and learn from that.
No, so I would say right now what we trying to leverage with social media and once we get into that space is start creating content like YouTube content. That's like most importantly, and the different niches and industries that can help other people. I think the most important thing is, and it sounds cliche, is bring value, right? Valuable information. I mean, that's what everyone needs, and like you mentioned before, right? It's free, so I could give out content for free. You can hear these tips and tricks and tools and systems that maybe you won't hear from your colleague at the job, but you can go on YouTube and listen and check out Lamar page, and Lamar can give you all the tips about how to close out on a sales deal, or how to structure your sales team, or what systems is hot right now within the sales industry that can be able to put you on an even playing field with the big companies, right? And think that's where we kind of heading at with Brian Staffing Solutions, that we want to start servicing other people when it comes down to just giving them valuable information, and then now putting faces, like you just mentioned before, putting faces. Okay, that's Lamar. Okay, oh, okay, that's the man. That's the CEO. That's John Bryan. That's the CEO. And eventually, this conquer that universe, and also with LinkedIn and collide it together, then hopefully, we end up becoming, like I said, a powerhouse. But I think that's most importantly, utilizing those tools is vital. I mean, you shooting yourself in the foot if you don't use social media. You're shooting yourself in the foot. I think that's where we are currently right now. We want to start making content. I'm scared. I'm not gonna lie. I'm kind of scared of it, but we definitely that's the new direction. When hopefully I think next quarter we probably gonna start doing content.
No, that's phenomenal. And not only does it help people find reasons in their own day to interact with your service, your product, without having it be an ad, something that's injected into the day. They can go out and they can find this content because it's genuinely useful to them, which is going to be 3 times more effective than any ad you could ever plug.
Yeah,
But also, another thing is, and I don't think people realize this, but in modern kind of culture, when you Google a company, you want to see a footprint. You want to see that they exist. You want to see that other people have interacted with them and that they have taken their time to show that they have had successes, they have had losses, they just truly exist and are not a scam,
yeah.
flat out. And so, no, I really respect what you guys are doing with social media, and I think it's wonderful. So, moving just a little bit more into sales itself.
Okay.
You said that you learned everything from scratch when it came for sales. But of course, I do think there was a bit of intuition there. I think all good salespeople are born this way a little bit, but that's besides the point. But if you were to be maybe teaching the top 3 things when it comes to making a sale, ushering someone from a stranger to a client or a partner, What are some of the best tips and tricks for someone new coming into the sales field?
So I think one of the most important things in sales, right, to me is having conviction, right? You believe in what you sell. You believe in what you're selling, right? It's hard for me. I wouldn't be able to sell if we didn't have a great product, if we didn't have a great service. It would be hard for me, right? And I think like the key essential, I would say, pillars for a person to be able to far focus wise on sales is conviction, knowing your product, but then also knowing the prospect that you're reaching out to. I think those are the key things, key essential things. And I would say when it comes out to the conviction part, right? You don't have to have like all the sales, I guess, charismatic personality, long as you, like I mentioned before, believe in the product. But it's similar to like me, right? I'm a born again Christian, and my overall goal, I don't care what anybody say, Jesus Christ is my savior, and my end game is to save souls. And if you can be a disciple for your service and for your product, then you don't need all the tricks and bells and whistles, right? You don't need all that stuff. You just need to have that conviction and understanding that, hey, look, this is a great product because I know it is because I use it. And then that same service or product, would you sell it to your mother? Would you sell it to your family members, right? And if you feel like you can, then you're on to something. So I think those are the key things: conviction, understanding the product, but then also understanding the prospect.
What are some of the things that they can begin doing to grow? And I'll leave grow up to interpretation. When it comes to building relationships with these large companies that feel like they're fortressed around with these huge walls, how can you even break the barrier of entry? How has Bryant done it in the past? How do you introduce yourself to these kingdoms almost?
Yeah. So the first thing is leveraging, like we mentioned before, leveraging social media. So creating a presence, right? So that's what we currently doing now. We creating a presence on LinkedIn. And we doing it as a company, but then also individuals also as well. So I think that's most importantly. Um, Now for a person, right, they just say if they starting out and they, want to get new clients and new acquisitions, there's so much technology out there that you can use. You can write email campaigns. You can write email campaigns. You can do LinkedIn sequence campaigns. You can also I would say is this one of the key pillars that a lot of companies don't use. I mean, I'm not gonna say don't use, but a lot of salespeople stray away from because it's so much technology that make it easy. It's cold calling. You cannot beat talking to a person. Right? It's very direct. Even though, right, you cold calling, they probably not expecting a call, but still in all, you get the opportunity to talk to them rather than the email going out and it could go to spam or they just click on it and then move to the next email or go about their day. At least you can have the opportunity to talk to a person. I think that's most importantly. A lot of people don't want to do it. They just rather send out 1,000 emails or 1,000 LinkedIn connections, which that's great because we utilize that also as well. But then also just having that personal touch of just, what, I'm just pick up the phone and dial this number and see if I could talk to the representative or that prospect reaching out to. Hopefully, I can be able to let them know, hey, look, we have a great service and a great product, which we do, and maybe set up a meeting after that. So I think cold call is to me is most important, and that's what's going to happen. It's going to end up leveraging out to that point of people going to have to go back to the essence of sales, which is cold call, right? All these email campaigns and email thousands, 10,000s of emails going out. Yeah, it's crazy. So eventually, the essence of sales is cold call.
And now we've hit the 20-ish minute mark. I like to start to transition the podcast away from the specifics of our career and more into how to have a career and a life and fulfillment and how to just be a good person. And so the question I always start this section off with is that if you had a magic bottle, you could put a message in it, send it to yourself at the beginning of your career.
Okay.
What is the piece of advice that you know now that really could have helped back then?
Have some patience. Have some patience, young man. You are going to do great. Have some patience. Stop being so tough on yourself. Stop being so hard, so critical that you are going to be okay. You're going to meet some great people. You're going to meet some bad people, but it's going to mold you into the man and the husband that you are going to be. And people are going to love you and you're going to have a great career. And just have, just relax, relax, relax.
Let it come to you.
Yeah, just
Yeah,
relax,
absolutely.
young man.
And when it comes to maybe a piece of advice for people starting their careers today, fresh out of college, fresh out of high school, fresh out of whatever path through education that they took, maybe restarting, what are some things that you've noticed throughout your career that are traits of people who have success?
Learn as much skills as you can in your 20s. Put as much skills under your tool belt as you could, right?
Mhm.
Everything. I mean, Microsoft Excel, spreadsheets, right now, coding, tech, everything that you could. Because eventually, right, you'll have your goals like me. My background, I thought I was going to be in law enforcement. Nope, not in law enforcement. I recruited for companies that did security, but I never, that wasn't in the, I guess, in the stars for me to be in law enforcement. But learn as many skills as you can, and eventually all that stuff is going to you're going to be able to leverage it in the future, and you're going to be happy that you did it, because I would say some of the skills or some of the information that we have out there, eventually you're going to have to have it anyway. So if you build as much as you could in your 20s, and I'm talking about just getting like certifications, certificates, classes, courses, whatever you could, just to put under your belt and leverage that within your 30s, and you're going to be successful. That's my opinion.
All right. Well, one, thank you always for your time and for talking with me here. This has been one of the episodes where I've yapped the most, and that's fun because it's a topic so close to my heart, too, because it's what I do. And so, really, thank you for this conversation. And if the people in the audience, if they want to find you, if they want to find Bryant Staffing Solutions, how might they go about doing that?
Yeah. Come check us out at bryantstaffingsolutions.com. You can also reach me on LinkedIn, which is Lamar Reese, and then John Bryan, which is our CEO, and then also Amanda Bryant, which is our COO. So you could definitely reach us at any one of those. And then, you want to send us a message, contact us. We here. We here, definitely.
Absolutely. And in the post of this itself, you'll find the links to Bryant Staffing Solutions as well. But I want to thank everybody. So, first, the audience, thank you for sitting and listening. Lamar, thank you for making time again for us. And we'll be back next week with another great guest on When IT Hits the Fan, brought to you by Rhyno Healthcare Solutions.